5. The Persians for their part say that things happened thus. And they conclude that the beginning of their quarrel with the Hellenes was on account of the taking of Ilion. But as regards Io, the Phoenicians do not agree with the Persians in telling the tale thus. For they deny that they carried her off to Egypt by violent means, and they say on the other hand that when they were in Argos she was intimate with the master of their ship, and perceiving that she was with child, she was ashamed to confess it to her parents, and therefore sailed away with the Phoenicians of her own will, for fear of being found out. These are the tales told by the Persians and the Phoenicians severally, and concerning these things I am not going to say that they happened thus or thus, but when I have pointed to the man who first within my own knowledge began to commit wrong against the Hellenes, I shall go forward further with the story, giving an account of the cities of men, small as well as great. For those which in old times were great have for the most part become small, while those that were in my own time great used in former times to be small. So then, since I know that human prosperity never continues steadfast, I shall make mention of both indifferently. 6. Croesus was Lydian by race, the son of Alet's and ruler of the nations which dwell on this side of the river Halys, which river, flowing from the south between the Syrians and the Paphlagonians, runs out towards the north wind into that sea, which is called the Euxine. This Croesus, first of all the barbarians of whom we have knowledge, subdued certain of the Hellenes and forced them to pay tribute, while others he gained over and made them his friends. Those whom he subdued were the Ionians, the Aeolians, and the Dorians who dwell in Asia. And those whom he made his friends were the Lacedaemonians. But before the reign of Croesus all the Hellenes were free. For the expedition of the Cimmerians, which came upon Ionia before the time of Croesus, was not a conquest of the cities but a plundering incursion only. 7. Now the supremacy which had belonged to the Heraclidae came to the family of Croesus, called Myrmidae, in the following manner. Candales, whom the Hellenes call Micelos, was ruler of Sardis and a descendant of Alcaios, son of Heracles. Phragon, the son of Ninos, the son of Bilos, the son of Alcaios, was the first of the Heraclidae who became king of Sardis, and Candales the son of Micelos was the last. But those who were kings over this land before Agronde, were descendants of Lydos the son of Aetais, whence this whole nation was called Lydian, having been before called Meonian. From these the Heraclidae, descended from Heracles and the slave girl of Iardanos, obtained the government, being charged with it by reason of an oracle. And they reigned for 22 generations of men, 505 years, handing on the power from father to son, till the time of Candales the son of Micelos. 8. This Candales then of whom I speak had become passionately in love with his own wife. And having become so, he deemed that his wife was fairer by far than all other women. And thus deeming, to Gyges the son of Daskylos, for he of all his spearmen was the most pleasing to him, to this Gyges, I say, he used to impart as well the more weighty of his affairs as also the beauty of his wife, praising it above measure. And after no long time, since it was destined that evil should happen to Candales, he said to Gyges as follows. Gyges, I think that thou dost not believe me when I tell thee of the beauty of my wife, for it happens that men's ears are less apt of belief than their eyes. Contrive therefore means by which thou mayest look upon her naked. But he cried aloud and said, Master, what word of unwisdom is this which thou dost utter, bidding me look upon my mistress naked? When a woman puts off her tunic she puts off her modesty also. Moreover, of old time those fair sayings have been found out by men, from which we ought to learn wisdom. And of these one is this, that each man should look on his own. But I believe indeed that she is of all women the fairest, and I entreat thee not to ask of me that which it is not lawful for me to do. 9. With such words as these he resisted, fearing lest some evil might come to him from this. But the king answered him thus, Be of good courage, judges, and have no fear, either of me, that I am saying these words to try thee, or of my wife, lest any harm may happen to thee from her. For I will contrive it so from the first that she shall not even perceive that she has been seen by thee. I will place thee in the room where we sleep, behind the open door. And after I have gone in, my wife also will come to lie down. Now there is a seat near the entrance of the room, and upon this she will lay her garments as she takes them off one by one. And so thou wilt be able to gaze upon her at full leisure. And when she goes from the chair to the bed and thou shalt be behind her back, then let it be thy part to take care that she sees thee not as thou goest through the door.